1914 was the year that Europe was engulfed in war. While tensions had been rising, and the Balkans had become a tinderbox due to the result of the Balkan War, no one could have foreseen that by the end of the year, the world would be at war. It all began when the Archduke Ferdinand of the Austrian-Hungarian Empire traveled to Sarajevo, which was the capital of Bosnia, then a part of the empire. The Serbs warned the Austrians that a visit to Sarajevo was not a good idea at this time. On June 28th, Ferdinand was assassinated by Gavrilo Princip, a 19-year-old Serb who was not connected to the Serbian government. The Austrian government reacted with outrage at the Serbians. To Austrians, who had received assurance of support from the Germans, this seemed like a perfect opportunity to put the Serbs in their place. They expected to do so quickly without having it spread into a wider war. The Austrians issued an ultimatum to the Serbs, which they expected to be rejected, and began mobilizing their army. The Serbs accepted Austria's demands with one reservation. The Austrians rejected this response and declared war on Serbia. At this point, with Austria mobilizing, Russia began to do the same. Within a short period, despite some half-hearted attempts at diffusing the crisis, the military gained control of events, and all the major powers mobilized. The Germans, following their long-standing plan, the Schäflian Plan, prepared to strike first at France, even though it was only marginally involved in the crisis, thus allowing it to later turn against Russia. The German plan, however, called for attacking France by transversing neutral Belgium in order to swiftly subdue France. The problem was that Great Britain had a treaty obligation to maintain the neutrality of Belgium. When Germany failed to heed British demands that they stop operating in Belgium, Great Britain declared war on Germany. Throughout Europe, a holiday atmosphere existed as soldiers marched off to war. For the first 40 days of the war, the Germans executed their plan. On the 41st, at the Battle of Marne, French and British troops stopped the German army in its tracks, thus ending the possibility of a rapid German victory. As the year progressed, the hopes of all the major combatants were dashed. The Russian army was stopped at the Battle of Tannenberg, and the Austrians were unable to subdue the Serbs. By Christmas 1914, the major powers were engaged in a war of attrition.